Hey there, my name's Trent, and today I'm going to talk about Obsidian Canvas. I have several different examples I could go through, but today we're going to focus on one, this is what I call a workspace, and this one's called Desk. So we'll go there. Now, if you're not familiar with Obsidian, there's other videos you can check out to learn more about it. I recommend linking your thinking, and I can put a link to that somewhere. Now, this is an Obsidian canvas, and I'm using it as a thinking space or a workspace, and this one's just called Desk. So, over here, I have a few resources. I have useful icons, sticky notes, things like that. And I have a little widget. This is just a note, but I'm calling it a widget since I throw it on the canvas and it performs a function. Right now it's using a data view query. This is my desktop area, and this is just a little scratchpad I can throw notes on. And we'll work through a live problem in a minute. And this is the wall or board or whatever you want to call it. I'm just thinking of it as like the desk is where I do work, where I write on, and the wall is where I would pin sticky notes or throw stuff on. And I took a few physical sticky notes I've made today, and I wrote them out as sticky notes on here to demo, and just to kind of bring my thinking all into one space. And instead of solving it all, I waited to do it until I could show an example live. So, when I did a presentation before in a community called Light, I have got a few questions, and we're going to look at some of the ones from Saloni. And I might be pronouncing the name wrong. If so, I apologize. So, could I talk more about how I use the desk and if there's a workflow around it? Well, we'll go back to desk. So, this whole thing I'm just calling desk because it's kind of like a workspace for me. And it's a new thing I've been playing around with for a few weeks. I can go here and write stuff. Sometimes I'll bring in my daily note like this. And today is 2024-02-22. And then I can actually like work in the note from here. So I do that sometimes. But I usually take it off or only leave a day or two of notes. This one's not got a ton of stuff on it today, so it's not really been redacted or anything. So that's one workflow I can do like this if I want to work like that. I can also just, oftentimes I'll just click over to it like that, and all I did was I held Control and then I clicked on the note up here to open it in a new tab. You can also pin this and kind of use it as a workspace while you're going back and forth between stuff. What are the big emojis for in your desk canvas? So you'll see some emojis over here, and I like to use emojis as icons. The big ones have like a header before them, and you can kind of see it's just one hashtag or pound sign to use as like a heading one, and it's just to make them nice and big. And I have a list of other useful emojis here you can see that I can go copy paste from. One plugin I use is called Emojipedia, I believe, and it lets you put emojis in your work. I have a command for it, so I'll go back to my daily real quick, and I would kind of just hit, but I'll trigger it from the command palette now. Emoji toolbar, okay, maybe that's what it's called. So I'd click that, and you see I have Control-Alt-E set up for it, and then I can choose emojis from there. I can use them sometimes to kind of help be more visual in my writing or my notes and things like that, or just for a little bit of fun. But if I go here, and let's go into the same daily note, and let's try to trigger command palette, and I'll type in emoji toolbar, and nothing happens because I don't know if it's a bug or whatever, but for now I just have my most commonly or favorite emojis over here, and I can copy paste them real fast since there's that small bug. I kind of use these for productivity checking. I'll use the check mark and the X for like to do or not done or things like that on some of my other canvases, so I like to have them here too. I use the hammer just to kind of generally mean something is being worked on or in process, and I use the question mark as either I'm not sure about the status of a thing or I need to go check back on it or something like that. It's just like the big red question mark is just like, hey, there's something about this we need to check on. Alright. How do you use the scratchpad? Well, it's kind of like how I would use just a random piece of paper on my real desk or a real sticky note or whatever. Just like I would write sticky notes and stick them on things or on a board back behind me. I can do the same thing with sticky notes on this wall, like digitally. I have custom colors here, so that's why I just have them here. And I can Control C, Control V, and it pastes to me that specific color. Then I'll just erase the text on it. And then I have a new sticky note. And that one's empty, so I'll just delete it. I just like to have a stack of them there for visual. I could have one, but if I do just grab one on accident instead of copy pasting, then I have more that I can rebuild from. And I just Control Z to undo moving it. So the scratchpad though, I can just write. Sometimes I'll use it just as a little test area for like data view queries. Or sometimes I've used it, and like I didn't write a data view there, but you can see I have it installed. I also have a plugin called Numerals that I really like, and I can do math with it real fast instead of having to open up a calculator, and sometimes I'll use a scratchpad for that. The other day I was using it to help me solve a Wordle problem, and I just did it like this just to get that monospace. And let's say you have, I'll put it on caps, and I'll be like space, 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 space. Because Wordle's just a word game, and you try to solve letters. And let's say I guessed the word and I got some letters right, and then it would be like H, wrong, A, T. And let's say then I tried to figure out other things. Then I could guess like down here, like, oh, maybe it's heart, and maybe that was the word. And that's just a really simple example. You can use it to work out just random whatever. But if we go back to the math, the numerals plugin lets me do stuff like that, where I could say Trintopedia equals 1000, and so then if we do Trintopedia plus Trint, then it does the math for you. It can also handle stuff using the Math.js library, and you can get here's a website you can go to get more stuff from if you want to work with the Math.js library. Just quick scroll through. You don't need all of that, but you got the idea. Basically, I just use it like I would a real scratchpad sometimes. Sometimes I use physical paper on my desk, but sometimes I will work here because I can type faster than I can write. Does it differ from jotting things in a daily note? I'd say so. Like I have set up here, a lot of times I'll put them up beside each other for whatever my daily is. And you can also grab it like this. I think this will work. You can grab like this and drop it over. So you can see I was able to do that. So that's another reason I have that little widget set up right there. And I did not mean to do that. So I'm just going to delete the note from there. That does not delete the note from my vault. It just deletes it from this view. But Scratchpad is, you could use your notepad like how I have a notepad on my daily note. This is my basic setup. I keep it pretty simple. And we had a small bug where when I was trying to fix the other thing. Should be able to fix that over here easier. If it doesn't fight me. Go into source mode real quick. You can see some live troubleshooting. It added extra lines, not what I wanted. And it should be fixed now. Okay. So yeah, I think we kind of addressed this question. And these questions are based off of a live thing, so they didn't have the recording at the time. So that's a fair analysis. Emojis and sticky notes, pinboard, and then scratchpad. Do I keep a writing log in my desk? I don't really use this desk to keep anything specific. This is, like I called it in my, up here, it's a workspace. Stuff comes in and out, just like my sticky notes in real life do. Like, these are here, so yeah. I wouldn't necessarily go through all of them there and leave anything here. Maybe something will stick around for a few days, but then it'll get moved out. So like tomorrow, this thing will probably be the next day's note, unless I need to reference something from today later. And let's see. Looks like my insert button got turned on. So now for a quick example. I've thought about doing more videos to show some things, because people ask me, like, Trent, how do you do this, or what do you do with that? And sometimes it would be easier to show my clients a video instead of having to get on a live chat with them all the time. So I've joked about that before, and I've done little videos to send people, but what would I, if I'm making a channel, maybe I'll call it Trentopedia or Hodgepodge University. Those are named after different things in my note system. So right now, if we are just using this as a live example, and I made these sticky notes earlier, and now I want to think about it. So I know my knowledge management system is Wikipedia, or Trentopedia, kind of named after Wikipedia and that whole encyclopedia system, just like everything is. And if I'm teaching a specific thing, maybe I would call it course name or whatever. And so this one would be Obsidian Canvas, your new office space. And this would be the exercise for the desk. Or maybe I would just say Hodgepodge University. Or maybe I would say welcome to Trentopedia. I'm not sure on that, and so these are just kind of thinking notes. Now if I had followers or people that were watching my videos, what would I call them? If my whole thing is about learning and knowledge, then these are just some different things I jotted down off and on. Learners, apprentices, pupils, students, scholars, initiates, and the turtles is just a joke. I find that it's helpful to get even just jokey things out of my head, even by listing it. Of course I noted it's a joke, and I wouldn't go with that, except maybe as saying it as a joke, but that frees up the mental space from it being in my head, like, I should say this joke, I should say this joke. So right now we'll probably just go with learners, and so for the intro to future videos it could be something like welcome learners to today's session on Obsidian Canvas. This is brought to you And then I could say Hodgepodge University or Trintopedia or something like that. That's one idea. And this is something I'll workshop a little bit. So that would kind of be like, welcome to either here or... Right now I'm just grabbing those little dots to make lines. It's kind of like a mind map, kind of like a workflow, however you want to think of it. And so just from a little rearranging, it kind of brought a little order to that thought. This will be something I play with off and on. You can give me feedback on this if you want, but that's just a quick live example. So I think that covers a decent use case for the desk and gives an example of how to do it. I believe I have covered all the questions, and thanks for watching.